What's going on, boys? Welcome back to another video on the channel, man, and we are going over some quick tips in Madden 24 that you can do, some little tricks to be better at the game, man. Just little things, little tweaks, little things I want you guys to be focused on and aware of, so that way you can, make these changes, these tweaks, and be a better Madden player. So let's get right into it, man. A couple things that I think that you guys maybe aren't doing now that you should be doing to be better and get more wins in Madden 24. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I would say that I think a lot of people do is focus on the overall of their players and not necessarily the specific ratings that they build their scheme around. So if you're a really heavy passer and you have linemen that have a high overall but maybe have low pass block and high run block, you're going to get sacked a lot. You're not, even though they're high overall players, they're not going to perform based off your scheme. So the first thing is know your personnel, man. Know your personnel. So for instance, like on offense here with the Detroit Lions, like we have a 92 overall Frank Ragnow, for example. We've got 86 Taylor Decker. We've got 94 Penei Sewell. Now, 94 Penei Sewell is going to be pretty good at mostly everything, man. But if we take a look at him, he is a 98 run blocker, but only an 88 pass block and only has 84 pass block finesse. So he is going to be more vulnerable to speed rushers, specifically in pass pro. So, even though he's a 94 overall, he's going to lose some battles to top tier speed rushers. So that's something to be aware of. Like, you're expecting this guy to be the best pass blocker in the game. It's not going to be the case. So we go look at Taylor Decker at left tackle here, 86 overall. He is an 88 pass block and good pass protector, not a good run blocker. 81 run block, 81 run block power, 81 run block finesse. He's not going to perform well in run blocking scenarios if you're running outside. So if you're a heavy runner, this is something that you should be aware of as well. So take a look at the personnel that you like to run. If you like to run the football, if you like to pass the football on offense, make sure that you're building your scheme around these players, man. And the same goes for defense. Do you like to run zone? Do you like to run man? A lot of people just focus on the overall of their defensive backs, of their rushers, and not necessarily focusing on specifically what you like to run. Sometimes you can find budget beasts that are, might have way higher in one category and lower in another. If you're a guy has terrible man coverage, but great zone coverage, and he's a lower overall, who cares? If you only run zone, that can be your guy, but like getting a high overall corner that has the opposite coverage stats that you need based off your, like, personally, I mostly always run zone. So I'm not going to go get a top tier man corner that's not going to play well for me in zone. It wouldn't make sense. It's the same goes for that. So really big to know your scheme, know what you like to do in the game, and then build the personnel around that instead of the other way around, trying to accommodate for what you have, man. Play to your strengths, and that'll make a big difference in trying to win some games. Second thing is, man, choosing abilities that can win you more games. Choosing good abilities and making sure you set abilities. This is more applicable to a franchise. Also applies to MUT, not as much regular head-to-head, but like for Aiden Hutchinson, getting edge threat, a really good ability. But if I were to leave him stock right now, he's only going to have edge threat and BOGO. We're not even utilizing his third ability slot, man. So getting in there, all your superstars or X factors, making sure you're setting abilities, man. Edge threat, BOGO, using double or nothing, which is a really good ability. As you go further down, generally they will be higher tier, but getting a good blend of pass rush, and then maybe I want a inside stuff or no outsiders to be able to also defend against the run, getting reach elite, stuff like that, man. Making sure you're playing to your strengths with abilities as well, man. It's all about playing to your strengths. So make sure you set your own abilities, do your research, go online, check out the best abilities in Madden 24. I can drop a link in the description of a good place to go look, man, but make sure you get those abilities set so you can best utilize your players for the type of game you like to play. Now, the third thing I'll say, man, is set your personnel up for success. So when you're editing the depth chart, man, make sure you go over to the specialists and take a look at who you actually want to be at certain positions, man. Specifically, editing your running backs, making sure you've got the guys that you want in, third down running back versus power back. Third down running back is going to come in more in, shotgun sets and on pass plays on third down. Power back will be in goal line formations. So Montgomery, a better power runner than Gibbs, he will be there. But if I'm in a non-injury league and I just want to work Gibbs, then put Gibbs in at power back. He'll get all the snaps in any formations. Slot wide receiver, that's something I want to keep an eye on too. A lot of times they'll just put some third receiver in there. Amon-Ra, natural slot fit, but on a lot of teams that won't be the case. So make sure you get a guy that generally the slot wide receiver will get open the most and get the most work. So you want probably the guy that you want to develop the most to be in slot more and often than not. Now, looking up at slot corner, man, like slot corner is someone that doesn't have to be the fastest corner on the field, as they're not going to be isolated out in coverage out wide, but and be able to be burned. But like at the same time, they're going to have to guard underneath zigs, deep crossers, drag routes. They're going to have to be able to keep up with them. So you either want good coverage and decent speed, or great speed and not as great coverage. So keep that in mind. Slot corner a little bit more versatile. You can kind of play around with it more, but just a few things to keep in mind there. And then sub linebacker is a big one. This is going to be your user. You want to have a safety at sub linebacker 1 more often than not, especially if you're playing competitively. You want to be using with a safety because linebackers do not animate in Madden 24. You're not going to get the same animations. They're not going to jump for the football the same way a safety would. So, for instance, like Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Anzalone, that would be a mistake to leave them in a sub linebacker. I want to go grab a safety here, either Kirby Joseph, Ifitu Melifonwu, and I want to go in specialists and put them in at sub linebacker. It's going to make a big difference for your user game, as when you're on defense, another point I'm going to make later, but you need to be usering with a safety or someone over the middle and not on the defensive line. Now, next, we're going to focus on some gameplay stuff. We're going to hop into a practice, man. I'm going to show you guys some adjustments you can make on the field to be better. Now, I will say, man, when you're playing the game, playbooks matter a ton, man. Find a great playbook that you can use, especially on offense. I use Detroit Lions offensive playbook, but a lot of people like, the Jets playbook, spread, West Coast, Chiefs, whatever you like to use, man. Go online, do some research. I'll also drop a link of the best Madden 24 playbooks to use. But find one that's good for you. Detroit Lions, not one of the top playbooks that's listed. I just like it, man. It's my playbook. I run with it, and it works well for me. Defensively, I like to use the 4-6 playbook. A lot of good options for stopping the run and great pass plays, pass coverage plays. So those are my playbooks, but you guys find what works for you and let me know. Now, on offense, not a ton to cover, but just reiterating the fact that hot routes are massive. If I click Y on my controller, man, it's going to pop up here with the select receiver button. I can change the route of any receiver here, even without any abilities on my quarterback. Clicking A here, obviously my tight end has tight end apprentice here, which reiterating using abilities, but I'm going to be able to user him right now. He's on a streak. I can change him based off coverage I see to an out, an in, a drag. You need to be able to be fluid in your gameplay calling based on coverage schemes, based on patterns of your opponent if you want to be successful. Coming out and running stock plays and just hiking them is going to get you into trouble very, very often. Your opponent, if you're playing a decent opponent, is going to make reads and start to pick up on your habits and tendencies, especially if they have a good user. So you need to be able to be fluid. So I'll show you right now. Amon-Ra, Laporta, Williams, all on streaks. Let's see what the deep safety does here. Amon-Ra, open, touchdown. It's a tight window, but you got to know how to make it. So if your opponent is running a lot of cover 3, splitting the safety and the corners can be very, very effective. You know, if you guys want me to do a more in-depth video, man, breaking down what routes beat certain coverages, taking advantage and reading defenses, then make sure to drop a like, man, and let me know in the comments, and I'll get that going for you guys. But that's just the basics of offense, man. Obviously, play to your strengths. You know, you also need to play to your strengths. That's just the biggest, you know, common theme of this video, man. If you are a great runner, if you have great vision when you're running the football, you know that your team is built to run the football. Lions are good at running the football, and you have good run stick, and you know that that's what you're good at. Run the football more. If you are a passer, if you love to pass the football, you like to make reads, you've got good decision making, you don't throw a lot of picks, pass the football. If you are finding yourself playing the game and constantly throwing interceptions, my biggest recommendation would be run the football more. Get better at running the football. Get better at choosing plays that are effective at running the football in your scheme, because the biggest issue is that people don't run the football enough early in the game. They go away from the run. If they're prone to throwing picks, they throw picks. You end up down early, and then you kind of take yourself out of the ability to pound the football down someone's throat, man. So that's my biggest takeaway, is know what you're good at and capitalize on that while still running a balanced scheme based off game script, man. So like I said, I can get way more in-depth into the play calling, breaking down schemes, and getting better at play calling and reading defenses and offenses. That's in a separate video. But let's switch on over to defense, and I'll show you guys what's going on over there. Now on defense, I will say, man, get in there and get in the formation screen. Get off coach suggestions and find formations that work well for you, man. Play around with the formations. Find what you like. Find sets that have safeties in the box. If you guys want me to get into the best formations to run for different situations, man, obviously, like I just said with offense, let me know in the comments, man. We can make that into a separate video, but we're not going to get too into the weeds with that right now. It's quick tips. So I would say once you find formations that you like, clicking Y here on your controller, I'll show you guys right here, man. Clicking Y, though, will allow you to substitute at any position on the field. As I move my controller here, it's going to move to the blue selected player on the, you know, formation view. And I could, for instance, if I don't like Jonah Ellis rushing the passer here, I could sub him out based off formation and maybe put Derek Barnes in, who I want to rush. I mean, he's a middle linebacker. I wouldn't do that. But you know what I'm saying? But for example, like if I wanted to maybe make a substitution here to put in a specific defensive back, if I wanted to maybe switch Kirby Joseph out and I wanted to feed to Melifonwu, I'd click Y, then I'd go to Kirby Joseph and I'd switch him out, and then now Ifitu Melifonwu is in the box. Maybe I feel like he can make more plays for me in the box. I would choose him. So that's the big thing. Substitutions, you can customize in this view whatever players you want on the field within reason. There are position locks and stuff like that, but for the most part, rushers and rushers, coverage guys and coverage guys, linebackers and safeties and stuff like that. So you can make those adjustments. It's massive, and it will really, really help you win with the correct personnel on the field. So another thing that I didn't bring up on offense, but I'll just go over real quick, is if you click left trigger here, based off a specific formation, you can set your audibles. Now I know you guys, you know, when you're in a formation, you're on the field and you click X and you go to audible to a different formation, you can customize that. So like right now, the stock nickel over audibles are cover 1 hole, overload blitz, cover 3 sky, Tampa 2. Like if I want cover 4 as an audible here and I don't really like to blitz, then I can get rid of overload blitz here and I can put in cover 4 quarters, and now cover 4 quarters is in my audibles. So say like I come out in cover 3 sky and I want to audible afterwards. I don't like my coverage. I see what he comes out in. He's coming out in verticals or something where I know I'm going to get bombed. I can click X and now audible down to cover 4 quarters. Wouldn't have been able to do that before. So that's massive, man. You're just putting yourself in a position to be able to make changes. The biggest thing, and I'm keeping this theme, is we need to be able to make changes on the fly. Biggest thing that will help you in Madden 24. So let's get into our next point here on the field. Now, on defense, the way to set quick adjustments and be able to customize your coverage, and the best way to do this is by clicking Y. So you see on Y now, when I'm in the coverage adjustment screen, I'm going to have the option to either choose an individual, or you see Y for quick adjust, left bumper for sticks, and right bumper for man align. Now, quick adjust here, clicking Y, it now brings up every single defensive back on my defense. So Keely Ringo, for example, is X. Now, when I click X, so I went Y, and then I went X. Now I have the ability to customize his coverage, man. So I can either go to man coverage, put him on an outside quarter, deep half, blitz. I could send him on a cloud flat, hard flat, soft squat, or outside third. So like right now, he is in an outside quarter because of cover 4. But if I want to audible him to man coverage, for example, I know that, you know, he's been running a cheesy, you know, quick out route with Jamo Williams on the left side, for example. Then I might put him on man, and then as soon as he throws that ball, Keely Ringo's sprinting straight for Jamo Williams and picking that ball off and taking it to the house. That was so easy. All I had to do was click Y, and then choose man coverage. Now, if I want to potentially do an individual, so if I go Y and then I want to do individual, whoever's guarding the closest receiver. If I click individual and I go B for Adonai Mitchell, the receiver on the right, then I'm going to have the ability to move around the defender who is closest to him. For example, should be the outside corner, Carlton Davis. So I can click down on my right stick, and that is going to press him. So, for example, if, you know, you're constantly getting, you know, quick snapped, and the, you know, obviously he's going to hike here and he's going to take every touchdown. But I'm not, I'm not trying to play defense. So if the, you know, constant thing is that they're quick snapping or something and you want to move him up, you wouldn't back him off if you're constantly getting burned, you can do that. So just the thing to remember, that quick adjust is to change the actual coverage, and individual is to change how, you know, the positioning of the defensive back or the coverage player, man. So if I click left bumper for sticks, that means the players on defense will play the sticks, meaning if it's 4th and 1, they're going to play much closer to the line of scrimmage, versus if it's 4th and 10, 4th and 20, they're going to guard that first down marker very, very closely. So sticks would be if you wanted, you know, to make sure that they weren't going to get it right over the first down, like a quick, you know, pass to over the first down marker. Now, right bumper align is going to be man align, and that's going to put your defense in a position to align next to their closest man. You know, it didn't make a huge difference here, but, you know, we can see that it is an option here. If you were running, you know, man or a little bit of zone and your guys were like way wonky, out of whack, you could click right bumper there. So now the way to tell your ability to adjust everyone is by clicking right stick. This is going to be like your basic way to show you how to adjust everyone. So audibles are with X. Secondary is with Y, like we did. We clicked Y, and then we were able to quick adjust or individually adjust every single one of our DBs. But if we wanted to do the same thing for the defensive line, that would be left on the D-pad. Right on the D-pad is for linebackers. And then A is just for individual adjustments, so whoever I'm controlling. So, like, if you only want to make adjustments to chin, like, I could do that. Or if I just want to click around and do that quickly, like you just saw, like I just clicked over twice and I just moved Joseph to a deep third, Ellis to a curl flat. So I could do the same thing with Hutchinson, and I'm just clicking A, and then it gives me the option of all these different routes here, man. So yeah, if you guys want me to make a video breaking down more in depth about the defensive coverage, about the ability to adjustments, make the, you know, which adjustments guard which routes better, etc., man, let me know in the comments below and run this up. If we get like 10-15 likes, we'll do it, man. So you guys run this video up and let me know, man. Let me know what you think. These are quick tips, basic tips, man, to get better at Madden 24. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing in depth, it's nothing wild. You know, it's just easy little things, little adjustments that you can make to be better at the game, man. But yeah, I will catch you guys later, man. Appreciate you guys running up so much. If you did enjoy it, make sure to drop a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.